Our first panel discussion is on the future of digital education, maximizing the learning-based outcomes amidst pandemic. And our panelists are Sachin Vas, founder the Gurukul the School Ghaziabad. He is the moderator for the session. Ms. Beena Nair, Assistant Vice President, State MRJ Puria School. Mr. Ganesh Sharma, Principal, Global Indian International School, Noida. Mr. Vikas Madnani, Founder Director, Creative Minds Global School, Neemaj. Dr. Josna Minocha, Principal, Queen Global International School, Dilshad Garden. And Arjun Minocha, Academic Director, New Oxford Public School, Vivek Vihar. Can we have our speakers on the stage, please? So let me just introduce our panelists again. Mr. Sachin Vas, founder Gurukul the School, Ghaziabad. He's the moderator for the session. Ms. Beena Nair, Assistant Vice President, State MRJ Puria Schools. Mr. Ganesh Sharma, Principal, Global Indian International School, Noida. Mr. Vikas Madnani, Founder Director, Creative Minds Global School, Neemaj. Dr. Josna Minocha, Principal, Queen Global International School, Dilshad Garden. And Mr. Arjun Minocha, Academic Director, New Oxford Public Schools, Vivek Vihar. The panel topic is Future of Digital Education, Maximizing the Learning-Based Outcomes Amidst Pandemic. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. देखिए, रवि जी ने कहा था कि स्ट्रेंथ कम है, लेकिन हमें ये महसूस नहीं होने देना है. I'm sure each one of us going to take some wisdom nuggets today because we have a very learned panel with us. And all of us know that these 20 months have been absolutely different for any educator pre-pandemic, and I'm sure what is going to be the future, we still have questions. But optimism says we have to be positive. And if you look at these 20 months, I would be thankful, and I'm sure each one of us, to Tim Berners, the founder of WWW, World Wide Web, because the way he invented, he never realized that 30 years down the line, this is the way education is going to be depending upon, and the way we have the outcomes. This gives us another opportunity to look at WWW with what went well and what went wrong. So in today's panel discussion on future of digital education, maximizing the learning-based outcomes amid pandemic, we will be getting some answers, some takeaways, and I'm sure all the delegates present here would have some things which they can take to their respective institutions and look at the way forward. So before we move ahead, let me introduce the panelists to you all. We have Mrs. Beena Nair, Assistant Vice President, State MRJ Puria School. And we have, friends, can we have a little round of applause? Because that's going to give us all energy. We have Mr. Ganesh Sharma, Principal, Global Indian International School, Noida. We have been joined by Mr. Vikas Madnani, Founder, Creative Minds Global School, Neemaj. Dr. Jyotsna Minocha, Principal, Queen Global International School, Dilshad Garden. And Mr. Arjun Minocha, the young, dynamic academic director of New Oxford Public School, Delhi. And I'll be moderating. My name is Sachin Vats. I'm the founder of Gurukul School, Ghaziabad. So let me ask this question to all the panelists. I'm sure these 20 months, as I mentioned, about what went well and what went wrong. So I'm sure you have your own stories to share. So may I request each panelist to just briefly give us a journey into your experiences of these 20 months. So may I start with Vikas?
Good morning, everyone over here. Thanks, organizers, for this opportunity of speaking in front of you and sharing our real-world knowledge. Each and everything new that starts in our life starts with, first of all, a lot of inhibitions and frictions. And the same thing happened as far as this remote learning was concerned. Initially, that starting 1 month, starting from 22nd of March last year till end of April, we were completely clueless how things will go. we started off digital education like a survival skill, and then slowly and steadily that survival mode was transferred to, the flourishing mode, how, things can be done in a better way. It was the question shifted from whether we can do it or no to how we can do it. Earlier we were contemplating the fact that whether that these kind of things are possible or no, and then later on we started discussing the points that, okay, these are the things that are working and these are the things that can work in a better way. So it's a long journey and lots to discuss. These were my initial thoughts with this.
Over to you, Mr. Ganesh, your journey.
Namaste and good morning to one and all here. So just to share with you that, how this journey, we all know that, post-pandemic and before pandemic, how school used to look like. I mean, it is, all the parameters have changed overnight. And everybody, I mean, whether all the stakeholders, students, parents, teachers, school management, everyone tried their best to, change themselves and, to adopt the new environment, to accept new challenges. And over the period of time, with a lot of, I would say, challenges in front of them, facing all those challenges, they all overcome, and gradually we are well settled in, digital form of education and in online education. But having said that, everyone, each and every individual, I must say teachers, they really worked hard during this time in order to understand. All the teachers, there was time initially before pandemic, we used to say, oh, it's very difficult. And we used to say that, 25% or 35% technology will play a role. Rest all will be chalk and talk and lecture method. Honestly speaking, as a principal, I'm always dreaming for face-to-face schooling once again, because that has no replacement. There's no substitute to it. But then what happened? Gradually, technology took over complete education system, and this is how the students and everybody are now very comfortable. And this is today's discussion. I think the future of digital learning, we will understand that what role digital learning is going to play another 5 years, 10 years, and we know that even if without pandemic, even if you imagine that experiments are happening in education sector every now and then, and during pandemic, many experiments happened, and one of them is that, how to be comfortable and settle in this online platform. And now next challenges for all the schools is that, the hybrid mode of learning, that how you're going to balance between offline and online. We'll have, I think, more discussion today as we, move forward. Thank you.
Very well said, Mr. Ganesh. When it comes to the Corona warriors, teachers, hats off to them. And of course, yes, the way people have embraced technology, that's beautiful. Madam Dr. Jyotsna, your views.
Yes, great morning all of you. So I think the journey started from negative and it ends to positive. Now I think everybody is happy with this technology, and we have learned, we have unlearned so many things during this pandemic. So now over to ma'am next.
Yes, ma'am. Dr. Beena.
Great morning. Good morning to all of you. Thank you for inviting us. Yes, if I look back, I had Seth MR Jaipuria group of schools. We have got about 40 plus schools in tier 2, tier 3 cities, wherein technology was a huge problem. We are not talking about Delhi, where the gadgets were there with the children, with the teachers, and for us, the technology was only in the school. Before pandemic, the teachers were coming to the school using the technology, using smart classes. During pandemic, we were left with just mobiles for some of the parents and teachers. Yes, they were not having laptop also, but then we had a huge challenge of training the teachers first to use, probably start, because we had to use technology. That was the only savior to have the learning continue with the students. So we started with WhatsApp, graduated to Zoom, Meet, Team, like all of you would have done. And then I think we were able to connect with the students. And today I feel that the digital learning can happen not only for academic learning, but also for holistic development. We use that in our group of schools. We did a cultural festival and also a mini sports festival using technology during pandemic. So when we'll have these discussions, I'll say we used technology for everything, be it academic learning, be it other learning, or may be assessments, everything. So I think it was a huge learning, and yes, like Madam said, we started cursing pandemic, but pandemic gave us a lot of opportunity to learn something new, use it and find out an alternative way and move forward without giving much learning gaps to the students. So let us discuss and understand how we can fill up the gaps which has occurred and how digital learning or technology can be improvised and strategized to fill up the gaps that has happened with the students. That is what we will be focusing upon today. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Friends, you have heard the perspective from a standalone school's perspective, from a school that has branches in almost 8 countries in the world, and school that is in tier 2, tier 3 cities with more than 40, 50 partners. And we have the optimism that is common in all their narration. We also have a young, I would say, management team member who has just ventured into the journey of taking up the role as an administrator in a school. Arjun, what are your views and your experience in these 20 months of pandemic?
So fabulous morning, everyone. So in 20 months, it started with pandemic, and it was a hard time in the starting. We faced a lot of challenges, and we started working on those, how to overcome those challenges, shifting everyone on technology, which was the hard part. But we finally managed to do it. And now, what I see the future of education or everything is online only. Everything is shifting towards online. So pandemic, so there are, for a coin, there are 2 sides of a coin. One, so we are doing good. And to sum up each and everything, everything will be shifting towards the online education, and hybrid learning will be the new learning, which we'll be doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Arjun. I think the context is set, and now let's come to some takeaways and some probably prospective way forward, because the topic says future of digital education. So let me ask this question to Ms. Beena Nair. Ma'am, how do you see that as someone who is instrumental in designing the academic curriculum of all your 40, 50 schools, do you see this hybrid learning or the blended learning or the e-learning or the digital education as the way forward?
Yes, of course, the hybrid learning will be the way forward, because over this 20 months, we have taught the students, the teachers, the parents, and the management that it is possible to engage the students. That is a way forward. We have to take help of technology, not restricting to the classroom learning, but taking technology to the students at their own comfort level. I feel that digital learning will continue, e-learning will continue. Most of the universities also, not only schools, have gone online. And maybe, what we should look at, we create curriculum, what we are looking at. In Seth M.R. Jaipuria schools, we do have a lot of projects wherein interdisciplinary enrichment activity learning projects, where we never thought that we will not be able to do it, because it's like collaboration, critical thinking, analytical thinking, and we never thought that these projects would be the children will be able to do, without physically contacting. But during the pandemic, the children could collaborate. So we have a lot of apps wherein the children can come, make small groups, collaborate, ideate, come back. So what I did for our group of schools is that we changed the strategies of teaching learning process. We changed and we trained the teachers to be like mentors, and putting the learning, the children were allowed to construct their own knowledge, and then moving forward using technology they could collaborate, they could express, and yes, the teacher could also monitor. I would say that. And then even now when the schools have opened in our schools, most of them, the children are sitting at home and they are collaborating with the students. For example, some children continued being at home only. So we allowed them, but still they are not missing out, because using technology they are collecting, they are connecting with their friends, their peers, and then once a week, or maybe once in 2 weeks, they come to the school and then they have the physical interaction. Yes, moving forward with technology, this hybrid learning can happen. And one more thing I would say, that we tried experimenting wherein the physical classes are happening and the classes being directly telecast for the others, those who are in the at their homes. That never worked, because the teacher cannot focus on the children here, and either you go. So what we did was, we did 2 separate classes for online direct classes, and then for children who are physically, that is direct classes. And then what we did was, when the teachers are in the physical classes also using technology, the breakout rooms the children would go, those who are online, they are also being addressed by the teachers. So a direct telecast is not what we should look forward. The children who are attending online classes also should have that kind of great engagement for that learning. They should not be passive listeners. We should strategize, make the teacher well versed with using strategies wherein the student engagement is 100%, be it online, hybrid, or physical. So the teacher will have to be, teacher training is very, very important to handle the students, be it hybrid or in class. That is what I have done. I have completely changed the project online, wherein the children did absolutely wonderful stuff, though I never thought that it was possible. So I think we have to develop strategies and let the children critically analyze and give them the charge of constructing their knowledge. That is a way forward, using technology and giving maximum result for the students.
Beautiful. Giving the charge to students to take the charge of their learning plus collaboration, which I can gather from Mrs. Nair's perspective, that initially probably school, the management, the teachers and the students, they all need to come together, and they have to customize or come to the context of their own individual school culture. And Dr. Mr. Ganesh, do you feel that there has been a feeling of mistrust between the edtech companies and schools initially, and after this pandemic, during these 20 months, now the relationship is improving, and the educators are now more open to accepting technology and its integration?
Absolutely. I mean, I'll tell you that, as I said at the beginning, that, as a school community, whether management, school management, teachers or principal, initially before pandemic, we used to have technology, but we used to keep it in, certain percentage. As I said, 25, 30% technology we'll use, but we were firm believer that education has to happen 70% in, the way it was happening. But then after pandemic, these all parameters were changed. And we have realized, see what happened in pandemic, as I said, that overnight shift happened. And we have seen some schools did it very fast. and all teachers and everything, because there was no other way, no other options were given to them. They said, we have to do it, and it has to be done like this. And other schools, they where I remember, like, no, ours is international chain of schools. We are in 8 countries, and a lot of educational, technology things we have been doing ever since the beginning. I remember that Zoom apps we have started using in 3-4 years back, when, for our doubt clearing sessions and extra classes and all. And I remember when I conducted a meeting, and I said to my teachers that, for both classes, why not we can start Zoom classes? They said, sir, how it is possible? Ye possible nahi hai. I said, let's try it first, and then we'll come to conclusion that whether it is possible or not. But in pandemic, you all have seen everything is possible. The use of technology, everything, is possible, and we are convinced now. So what I'm saying is that with edutech companies and all, the trust has increased now, because now you see in this meeting also, we are meeting after a long time face to face. I think principals are more inquiring about, outside also in stalls and all, that, what is happening in the industry right now, who's doing what, how hybrid learning or blended learning, these can be, I can streamline it in my school and make it a perfect way forward, and can offer to our parents, a very good education system using technology. So I think this trust has increased, and I think edutech companies also, they did a lot of research work. I have seen people coming and doing research work and coming, and next month, so we have this kind of setup, we have this kind of system. And everywhere, I was talking to one of the principal in the morning, each and every system or parameter of hybrid learning, blended learning, e-learning, it's successful in each and every school. Whichever way they want to do it, whether you want to have it in kind of, hybrid, or as madam said that, it should not be always live sessions, probably with the blended learning. The study material can be offered to them, and they can study it separately. All these things are going to, combine together, and it's going to be a very strong platform going forward in future also. As our topic is future of digital learning, I can tell here in this forum that digital learning is going to remain, and it's going to be very prominent, and kind of, very strong way. It will be a part of the component of school education system. Now we know it's not about only books. It's not about books. There was time we used to think that only books, and without books it's not possible. Book hogi, wo base hoga, and then teacher will start teaching. It's not like that right now. Information is there everywhere. Digital tools are there, and everything is happening. Even if your WhatsApp is playing a very important role nowadays in your communication and sharing resource materials and everything. So this way, the trust between, again, as Mr. Sachin has asked, that trust between schools and the edutech companies has increased a lot, and I think this collaboration is very helpful, and I think it is going to be more stronger and more fruitful in future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ganesh. Beautifully said. And I'm sure that it's a good news for all the tech companies, because we see the growth of this sector. 2016, $247 million investment and funding, and now it is $2.2 billion by the end of 2021. It's expected, and I'm sure that this is eventually going to take it further, because we are concerned eventually about the learning outcomes. So when we talk about learning outcomes, Vikas, what is your take? How do you see that this introduction of technology in your school and the choice digital education has given to you, do you see that learning outcomes have improved with the students in your school, or do you think that there has been some unfinished learning still left?
Yeah, so as far as if we talk about learning outcomes, what I personally feel is that digital learning gives you a platform through which we can make things interactive, right? The child should feel engaged enough to respond to what the teacher is saying. A lot of times a static classroom or static textbooks do not offer that much platform. So what I personally feel is that in our case, the learning outcomes got improved because the way teachers engaged students, the way they motivated them, and the motivation can be clearly seen the way students participate, the way students respond to the queries. See, every time we expect a teacher to complete a 40-minute period, but what I personally feel is that before starting a lecture or before starting any online or offline interaction, a teacher must know when to stop. A research says the age of the child plus 2 to 3 minutes is the attention span of any child. A 8-year-old child cannot concentrate on one particular topic for more than 10 or 11 minutes. So that thing was incorporated in the teachers, and they gave the lectures, they gave the sessions according to this particular fact, and things were far better rather than static classrooms. Now, going forward from here, what I feel is that blended learning is the way forward. We cannot completely replace the physical classrooms. Each and everything has its own pros and cons. But I feel that if the learning pedagogies are planned in such a way that they take care of what is going on in the child's mind, then offline and online together can bring wonders.
Very well said. Thank you, Vikas. So, yeah, a very important point that has come up is the attention span of students, this new age students. We call them Generation Alpha, and it's now close to 2 to 5 minutes, and the research says that you need to use more than one sensory organ now. Listening won't work. You need to involve, and I said, tell me I forget, and involve me and I learn. So probably that is the way forward. And yes, digital education is definitely giving you one more opportunity to involve your more than one sensory organ. Beautifully said. Dr. Jyotsna, how do you see that in this huge country like India, we have a lot of diversity. There are all kinds of schools, the budget schools, the group schools, tier 1 cities, tier 2 cities, and penetration and reach is a big concern. How do you see digital education as a way forward in totality in the Indian context?
So what I think, like this, during COVID, we have learned so many things. But after post-COVID, it will be amazing. We are going to learn, we will be using hybrid learning. Like schools are open already from 9 to 12 in Delhi. So we just have researched among the students. We just talked to the students. What we found that this e-learning, students, they are told that it's very comfortable for us, but they want that we want virtual classrooms as well as physical classrooms. Because now, as you know, schools today also, there is an order that school has already opened in Delhi from 6th to 12th onwards. But we are planning for post-COVID, like hybrid learning, integrated learning will be there in our school. Like here, we will have both. It will be, lectures will be recorded, like we are already using Google Classrooms with us, and lectures will be recorded, and that will be shared among the students. And those students, like suppose a child he is not well, or he has some medical issues, so at least after this, he can learn, he can talk to the teacher, he can connect to the teachers, and we can teach him online also. Like I find that during PTMs, maximum parents, they are absent, especially in seniors grade, from 9 to 12. Parents, they don't want to visit the schools. So teachers can connect them online, and they can share their values, and they can talk about the student. So post-pandemic will be very amazing, going to be very amazing, and we are going to learn, like as CBSE, they have started with Google Art and Culture, where while sitting at home, we can go to our dream places. Like we have conducted a virtual picnic with the students, and it was really fantastic, and students, they have really enjoyed virtual picnic, because now our future is very bright with this technology, because technology is, it's bad. There are pro and cons for technology, but I think we should, if we control it, it will balance it, then I think we can do great jobs. We will be good in this, in our education field. So what I feel that pro like this, it will be amazing. We will be happy, and all the educational fraternity have found that technology is amazing and excellent with the students, and our parents, students, teachers, everybody, they are comfortable with this technology. Now technology has taught us how to work from home. Previously, we never thought of this, that we can work from home, because we are in this habit, our mind is trained in this habit, that we can get education only in schools only, that is physical classroom. But pandemic has taught this thing that we can have online classrooms also. So in my opinion, like post-pandemic will be amazing. We will be using online also. We will be using offline also. We will be using technology also. Because technology now, technology is, we have very bright future with technology. Like there, you have seen like in Dubai, there is a virtual expo. You will see that while sitting at home, you can see what is happening inside that expo. So with this, thank
Thank
you
you.
very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Ganesh, I want to ask a question. Next to you, UNICEF report of September 21 says that 80% of students in the age group of 14 to 18 years have lesser learning outcomes compared to what they were when they were physically coming to school. And around 42% of students, it's the data, of children between age 6 to 13 years reported not using any type of remote learning. And we are talking about future of digital learning in Indian context. What is your view on this?
See, we need to understand one thing, that the kind of change that happened and the pandemic brought in, that was not initially, we were not ready for it actually. We were, even students, parents or teachers, nobody was ready. But it suddenly came, and then we started kind of, adjusting to it. And I'll tell you the correct, as per my experience and with schools and all, and as we communicate with the parents and teachers and students, I'll tell you what is happening, that we will also need to see, it is not about using technology and the learning outcome. It's not about that, but thing is that we need to see that, is it fitting in our parameters that we, suppose, let's say for an example, our Indian education system is all about appearing for examination and getting, scoring marks. But in that parameter, what is happening? Now, education is happening. Education is happening through remote learning. Education is happening through online learning. Everything is happening, and parents are also satisfied and all. But I'll tell you one thing. My experience is that when we were focusing on board class students, and suddenly one day we said, okay, fine, we will do offline examination now. And we've been seeing for 19 months, they were away from school and kind of, giving all online examination and good marks, and everything was happening properly. And suddenly, students, when they come to offline examination, you see there is a gap. There is a gap. Then you start finding that whether it's our only online education system is impactful, it is going to, the learning outcome, we are going to, a desired learning outcome we are going to get. That question comes, and then you suddenly find out, no, we need to balance it. And this is how, what I'm saying is that now still the battle is not over. We will have to figure out now that what would be the right balance if the digital education is going to exist, and it will exist, I'm sure. What would be the balance? And in that way, it is going to solve our purpose. The kind of education system we have in India, it is going to solve that purpose of scoring marks and clearing examination. Is it going? You've seen a lot of things nowadays, in even the board examinations in students are not prepared, and properly we as a education community, we are also not prepared, and all experiments are happening every now and then. And it's good. If the experiments are happening, we learn from it and we rectify it, and probably this is how we evolve and we become better. But having said that, digital education system, when it comes to learning outcome, whether it is remote learning or it is physical learning, we'll have to figure out that what would be the right balance. How we still, a lot of questions will come as a principal and directors or school owners. It will come to you that, is it solving your purpose? It is, your students are getting proper benefit out of it. These questions will come, but we'll have to find out that what is that exact treatment and balance that we'll have to have between physical classes and online classes or remote classes. Otherwise, sometimes, honestly speaking, sometimes it may be completely eyewash. Students, even senior students and all, if you see them, they just log in through mobile. And after that, no learning is happening, just attending classes and that's all. But as a educators, we'll have to now chip in. We will have to now come forward and find out that, look, this is not happening in the right way. We'll have to figure out and we will tell you that how it is to be done. So I think remote learning still is a challenge. And I think the data will again change, as you said, is after 1 year we'll have a different thoughts on these combination of having remote learning and all. Hybrid learning, a lot of experiments are happening already. People are doing and seeing that, those who are learning physically, of course, they have a better hold compared to the students those. But this is to be there because we are talking about now e-learning. Schools are going e-learning now. Very soon you'll come to know that a lot of discussions are happening whether there should be a complete e-learning or not. And it's nothing new. I was in, long back before pandemic, once I was in Sweden for student exchange program. And I asked one student, I said, how you study? He said, I'm studying 2 subjects from this college. I'm studying 2 subjects from this college, another 2, because they are specialized kind of a thing. Probably with the e-learning and all, similar kind of a system, we are also going to happen. Because I have seen it in our international chain of schools, our students, when they stuck in India, Singapore students stuck in India, we have provided them all education from our local schools, supported them with e-learning and all. And it went very smoothly. So this is probably, in India, a lot of change is going to happen in another 2-3 years. We will be in same platform. We'll be having a different perception about the curriculum delivery and education system. Thank you.
Great. Optimism is the key. I guess Ganesh has very clearly mentioned about it because no one knew in March 2020 what is going to happen. But we evolved every day. We learned every day. And I'm sure that every school leader, when they sit, nobody wants that the learning outcomes should not be achieved. They reflect and they revisit their strategies, and the next day is always a brighter day. Coming to the teachers, the real stakeholders, somebody who's implementing in the classroom. Mrs. Nair, you have been working with teachers a lot. And there was a time when there was a fear in the mind of teachers कि शायद technology हमें replace कर देगी. We will be, in case digital thing come, then our job probably is at stake. That's a very practical thought that had come to a mind of a teacher. But with these 20 months, do you think the mindset of the teacher has changed? Do you see that she feels benefited with this tool? And what are your views on this?
Very good question. Yes. Before pandemic, teachers used to feel, in my school at least, when we used to have smart classes, maybe we are threatened. But now they have realized that technology has become an enabler. They have used technology as a powerful tool to use their capabilities to connect with the children in a better manner. And they have realized that using technology, the teachers could give personal attention to the students. Personalized learning applications were recommended, maybe as a first level of children going to a topic through gamification. When I talk about technology and digital learning, through games, they learn a concept and they come back. So the teacher could choose the path for each and every student in the class because the time was not a limit. You had a lot of technology in hand. So maybe a concept being taught. So the teacher could guide the students, you take this path using this game, come back, and then the discussion. So in my school, we have got about 2,000 plus teachers in my chain. The teachers who use the technology well and used it as a tool for them to develop are still in the system. Those who could not use it and said that, okay, I cannot, they are out of system. And the teachers who have used it are again going to be successful in the future also, because it is a realization for all of us that technology will change. And one more thing I should say that during these time, like Madam said, that virtual tour and the picnic happened. We also conducted a lot of like Connect with Scandinavian Connect, Canadian Connect, US Connect. And the teacher was a key, like teacher was there with the students to make them understand, what exactly to grab and what to, she's there standing, walking by the side of the students. So I think good teachers use technology well, and they are still in the system. From my school, around, I could say about 10 to 15% of teachers have left the system because of fear of, being exposed fully. The teachers were performing from their home, and some of them had their comfort zone in their classroom where only their students and themselves were there. They had to come out of the comfort zone and perform in front of their family sometimes when they were teaching online. And they were threatened with that, in fact, I would say. And one thing I'm still apprehensive, I don't know, when we think about development, we have to develop the children socially, emotionally, intellectually, physically, and spiritually. That is the holistic development. We focused more during pandemic for intellectual and the physical and social emotional development was lacking. So I am basically focusing on, right now, how technology can be used to develop and to ensure that the children, the students, the teachers, and the parents are all emotionally and socially connected, and that development is also happening. So I could not find any application for that right now. So I would be looking for the EdTech tools because to come up and some kind of artificial intelligence wherein not only the academic concepts, but other concepts of, emotionally giving that development to the students. That also we are looking for technology. And one thing I would like to add, the other day I was reading about metaverse. And, I was so excited. I'm sure most of you must be waiting for that, So when we were having this Scandinavian Connect, wherein through internet we were connecting, and it was just a 2D experience. So I was just imagining maybe another few years through metaverse, we will be doing a conference in US, right? Digital learning. So we are going to, you feel that kind of you being there and doing a conference. It is not just telecasting, but feeling being there. So I'm waiting for that technology and preparing the children to face that future without any fear. The technology is the way that will take them to that future and become a global children. That is what I'm looking forward. I'm so excited about how technology is going to develop in the coming years. And our children are going to use it. We don't know whether we are going to be there at that point of time.
Beautifully. So this FOMO, fear of missing out, probably was the reason. And some of the teachers who were not so much inclined initially to technology, they had no choice. And probably their all misconceptions were gone, and eventually they embraced technology and were able to do And this reminds me of a beautiful quote of that technology probably cannot replace teacher and it will never be, but teacher who will not use technology will be replaced. So I think, would you like to add something to this, Vikas, about the teacher's fear and now in your context, in your school?
See, what I personally feel is that one of the main stakeholder of school is the teacher. So far, pre-pandemic time, if we analyze, teacher used to be the hero. Teacher used to run the show. This was the biggest change that teachers have to bring, or rather had to bring in their mindset, that we are not the owners of the class. We are supposed to shift our mindset in such a way that the class is just not the teacher-centric class, but it's the student-led class. What ma'am said in addition to that, of course, that fear of technology was certainly there, but shifting the traditional classroom with the right tool of technology and using the old pattern, this created a chaos. It was not just the information or the knowledge of technology which was required. The biggest challenge teachers faced was the change of the mindset. Those teachers who had open mindset, who were ready to make their class a flipped classroom, could do way better than those who were reluctant in doing that. So, and there, talking from our school point of view, talking from the management perspective, there the role of a school leader becomes very important to make teachers comfortable in adapting with the new normal. The way we say that the student should be motivated enough in the classroom to perform better, the same kind of motivation is required for the teachers as well. I personally say one thing in the school: if the teacher is on the right path, the parents as well as the students can be taken care of automatically.
So you mean a proper designed training need analysis and a professional development in place?
Yes.
Fantastic.
That's, and from now onwards, earlier things were, before pandemic, things were completely in the classroom environment, then a complete online. Now the real challenge will begin. How we can have the best of both the worlds.
Great. Thank you, Vikas. Arjun, let's come to another stakeholder, the parent. How has been the parental participation and their take on this digital education and the e-learning?
So after pandemic, the parents have involved in the studies, in the curriculum of the student. They are able to know what exactly the teacher is teaching and how the student is learning. The learning of the student has been improved because parents are focusing more on students. Plus, parents have become more tech savvy with the students and us. Everyone is shifting online. So parents, so we have discussion in our school, we have discussion with the parents, a lot of meetings are being held on Zoom. So parents are becoming more tech savvy, and which is the future. So we have interacted with the parents and told them to become the invigilator of the student, of their child at the duration of exam. So which really helped them to which really helped, because parent were the one who were looking after their child, and they also want that their child should excel. Plus parents also knows that the future will be shifting online in the future. For example, Beena ma'am said, it will be, the metaverse is coming. So in the metaverse, if the digital education will be shifting to metaverse, where there will be a visual platform, visual reality would be there. Student can just log in from his app, and there will be a visual virtual school. So he can just enter, he can make his own avatar, he can enter a school, and attend online classes. So there the experience will be better. He can interact with the teacher, interact with his colleagues, with friends, and he can go to the park and experience everything. The running, he's running, so he will be able to use the visual, audio, everything would be there. And with that, the experience will enhance. So same, he'll be learning a lot when there will be a visual world of school. So even just sitting at home, he can just enjoy the school life.
Great. So yeah, this recalls that last year all of us were struggling in collecting fees from our parents, and I'm sure each school had this challenge, and it was very difficult for people to digest and understand and justify that the online fee and the offline fee is going to be similar. But yes, after 1 year, when they have seen how hard working the teachers are and the school is, probably the time extended from 8 hours working to probably 24 hours working. Sometimes, needless to mention, that they had to stretch their limits and sacrifice the families and everything. And parental confidence and trust in schools have gone to the next level altogether. Ma'am, you would like to add something to this?
Sorry, when I talked about teachers, I just wanted to add one more thing here. The greatest challenge that one of the challenge that I faced was that the teachers were not trusting the children when they are doing the assessments, right? Online assessment, that was one thing. That also I would like to add upon that. Initially stressed teachers a lot. How will we give a paper and then wherein the children are, whether the children are writing the answers or parents are writing the answers. Because proctor-enabled assessments were not happening, right? So it was a challenge for the teachers. How did we overcome? Again, I had to do a huge teacher training. Again, giving the onus to the students to create. The questions were not directly, the critical, what even the NEP talk about, everything, the shift should be like outcome-based, the critical thinking, analytical thinking-based questions. And we encouraged open book assessment. We said that children are allowed to open all the books and then write the assessments online. But still, the questions we developed, and I had to basically change the mindset of the teachers to trust the students and allow the students to create their own. Maybe there are 1, 2, 3 answers for a question. We should accept that. That is how the children will be able to critically analyze. Again, this was possible for at least my chain of St. M.R. Jaipuria school teachers because I could train them and tell them that don't focus on, say, like one answer from everybody. Let the children have multiple answers. There is, the question should be like that. There should be big questions where the children should have that question, how, why, what, when. And then assessment became more like analytical. It was very difficult for the teachers to check the answers. So we recommend, and now most of the assessments are having critical, analytical based questions wherein nothing is from inside the book. And the children are also used to. So the parents were very happy. We were looking for the answers, but we were not getting it. So that was one challenge. And then the teachers who were able to accept that challenge were, still in system.
Beautiful. Yeah, assessment was something which I really wanted to ask, and good, you bought it. And I'm sure parents have realized that they also are equal partners now in terms of appreciating the hard work happening in the classroom. They could see the classroom reaching out to their living rooms, and the bedrooms, and the kitchen, and the way they came back with the feedback. Probably, I'm sure each one of you and all the educators here have collated the feedback of what is happening in the school during the session. And they had a lot of appreciation and thank you mail from the parent community reaching out, which is a great morale booster for all educators. Ganesh, assessments. This is something which principals are looking forward to ensure that there's learning happening in the classrooms. So what has been your experience of assessments in this digital education?
So I'll tell you, for assessments, it was challenging, no doubt about it, because the complete mindset of the students, teachers, parents, that is as per, for many years we have been giving and, conducting assessments and giving assessments if we talk about students. And suddenly, because of this digital pandemic and using of digital form, we have changed the assessment pattern. And when it was changed, initially it took time for teachers also to understand what is happening. And as I said just right now in my during my discussion that there was a huge gap between what they were doing in class and here. But the challenge was here that even edutech companies and all, they were trying their best and still they're trying. And this kind of AI-based softwares are, playing a very important role, let me tell you. And we were not having any other source or any other way, other than going for these kind of AI softwares and all to conduct proper and fair examination or assessment. But it was challenging for the teachers also when you give something. But then we started finding ways, as Madam Beena also mentioned, that she has started with open assessment system. Similarly, they started, what is a different way that we can test them? It's not about testing, and giving them challenge. It's about testing their knowledge, what they have learned. End of the day, that, yes, we need to ensure that whether the child has learned or not. So assessment was very, very challenging. Still it is challenging right now. And I'm telling you, even for the senior classes, with the small students, it's fine that, online some kind of output is coming. But when this output in board classes and all senior classes, you will have to really produce results because, our schools are known for results. So when you really need to produce results, how your assessment, online assessment is going to play an important role. Now, whether we are fully dependent on this, we cannot. That even CBSE is also kind of, experimenting, boards are also experimenting how it's going to happen. But ultimately, going forward, because we are talking about the future of digital education, the assessment is going to be digitalized and it's going to play some role. I mean, may not be completely, but if you see in higher education and for competitive examination, everything is now in a digitalized form and everything is on, even CBSE also started with MCQ and everything. It is going to play a very important role, but challenges are still, there are challenges. Still, we need to find out that gap, whether your online assessment of students is showing the true potential. Is it a true reflector of their potential? That we need to figure out. And the moment you will come to know, you will find out that what you need to do. And as an educator, a principal, you will have to then kind of, train your teachers immediately. Look, we'll have to find out ways to handle this situation. Otherwise, over the period of time, like 2 years, when the children are coming back to school, I'm sure all the principals here, you must be experiencing when they come to school, children are not having that kind of a routine now. They don't have that routine of sitting in a class for a longer hours and kind of, paying attention and all that, because they're completely, different routine they have gone into. So that we'll have to see. It will be very challenging. And next coming academic session, we are heading towards that academic session will be absolutely different in terms of delivering curriculum, in terms of assessment, in terms of handling students, in terms of course, the parents. As we said, we were talking about parents. Parents are now a little comfortable. Why? Because parents are directly observing your class, directly, indirectly, they are in the class. And they are seeing it. And we keep doing, mini town hall meetings with the parents and all. And they come and they said, sir, now we don't have any problem with the teachers and all because we know that what is happening in class. So, and that was not similar before pandemic. Before pandemic, whenever you meet parents, they will have 100 questions that your teacher is having this problem, my child did not understand. Because now they are also involved. So this is a kind of a partnership which is happening now between school, teachers, parents, management, everybody. So I think assessment is, we need to see that what shape it will take in next academic session. And I think edutech companies, educators, everyone is working towards, refining this assessment mechanism or methods. Thank you.
Thank you, Ganesh. I'm sure the views expressed from this platform today is going to give a lot of takeaways for the companies, tech companies as partners, because we see them as partners in our schools who can transform, help, and make us improve the learning outcomes in our respective schools. And I see the future as something which is going to have a better technology, better tools, better strategies offered to schools, whether it's assessments, whether it is curriculum, whether it is processes and systems, and saving of the precious man hours in the school, and so that the focus remains on the child, because eventually we know that it is the child who is the most important element in the ecosystem of the school. Thank you very much, all the panelists, and I am sure that it was a lot of learning, especially for me, and knowing your thoughts gave us a new perspective. And the conclusion is, of course, there's a flip side to everything, but yes, let's see how the things move in the future. Thank you very much. We are left with 2 minutes, so I would ask the organizers to come and do the proceedings. Thank you very much. Thank you. Friends, can we have a huge round of applause for our panelists, please? Thank you. Okay, can we have 2 minutes for the question?
Yeah,
in
you
case?
can have, in fact, I was about to announce that you can have a 2-minute session on
Questions.
and answer. Yeah.
So any question, friends, in case somebody would like to ask the panelist? Any question?
I think we are all up and awake by now, so you can have some questions around.
Yes, there were a lot of wisdom nuggets that has come.
Yeah.
कोई सवाल?
बाहर actually थोड़ी सी धूप निकल आई है, इसलिए लोग भी निकल आए हैं. Yeah, there's one question. Can we have a mic there, please?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good morning. My question would be, what are your thoughts on teacher training? Because, you know, teachers are the backbone of the system, you know, and they have this huge responsibility. So what are your thoughts on training teachers? Because they're as such investing many hours in preparing the e-content, right? And how to deliver it. On top of that, they also need to be trained time and again when technology itself is changing many folds, right?
Ganesh, would you like to take this? Yeah.
Thank you for your question, madam. You see, teachers training, ever since the beginning of our education system and the way we are running our education system, faculty development program is #1 priority for any institution, school, or organization. But having said that, after this pandemic, we have realized that learning, relearning, unlearning, how it's happening. You know, we teachers, the way they have shifted, overnight shift happened from the traditional teaching to digital form and online teaching and all. It was not possible without proper training. And any institution, those who have really given priority for teachers training, they have really come up very well during this pandemic time. And they have, of course, it's a kind of a race. You know, as I said, you know, somebody was able to do it overnight. Somebody was in 2 days, 3 days, a week, or months. But everybody achieved that target. But teachers training is very, very important. And teachers training formula, the mechanism, teachers training content has changed. Teachers training content has changed. Why I'm saying this? Now, teachers training is more of kind of, your component of your digital components, your use of softwares. The other day, we were planning for our, annual, need analysis we were doing, that we do every year for our organization. And the beginning of the year, we come to know, we do a small audit, and we come to know for this particular branch, we need this kind of training, this particular branch, we need this kind of training. Now, in that process, I saw that there are 150 to 200 softwares teachers are already using in different campuses. And those softwares are really, really helpful. With my IT teacher, I said, let's go with all softwares and let's understand what is their utilization. So what I'm trying to say is that right now, that teachers training is a priority #1 right now. And if your teachers are very well trained, I think they will be able to handle any situations, during pandemic and coming time. As I said, whether pandemic is there or not, digital form of education is going to be there because parents are also now, mentally convinced that, पढ़ाई ऐसे भी हो सकती है और ये चीज़ रहेगी आपके. Because I'll tell you one example. When I was in Bangalore, so there was a discussion going on. Some parents used to come to me and they used to say, sir, we want to have home school kind of a system. And they said it is a very good practice which is happening in a city like Bangalore. And we used to, I said, fine, let's have a discussion on this. And we found that, 500 or 1,000 such cases are there where, they want to do homeschooling. And they used to come forward and say, sir, we will convince you that, how it is good. And of course, we know that what are the drawbacks and all. I mean, in the pandemic also, I tell parents also that, social development is not happening. आपके बच्चे का social development नहीं हो रहा. आप उनको, you try to take initiative, आप उनके friends बनाइए because they're sitting at home. How much connect you will have? You talk to somebody over the phone, you will not come to know the expressions, you will not come to know the emotions. So these things are missing. So this is what I'm saying that, this teachers training right now is very, very important. And the required teachers training, what exactly you need, that as a principal, you need to find out that, what kind of training you need. Thank you.
So I would like to add upon just one point here. CBSE has also opened up a lot of training for teachers. Diksha platform is there. And even government is doing a lot of training state-wise, teacher training for government schools also, because that is a way forward. And one thing is the teachers should be open to learning and getting trained on new technology. And every day there is a new application coming in. And if you're not getting your teachers trained, then it's like when we had our teacher training, initially we used to have only like once before the year and once in the middle of the year. Now there is a continuous, training every month. And then the management had a question. You will train the teachers and they get trained themselves and they move on to another school. So that is creating more harm for us. You are training and your teachers are really good, well trained, and other schools are taking away, my teachers don't train. I suggest that if you don't train, they are now out of system, they will not be able to perform, that will create more damage. So I always emphasis on teacher training to get better output. Training on every aspect, not only technology, but all the aspects, strategy, pedagogy training and technology training. CBSE and government schools, everywhere it is going in a big way. We are going to take part in a government teachers training at Rajasthan. We may, do training for teachers at Rajasthan, our group. We are planning that way. So all the state government is also coming. Everybody is realizing only teachers can make a difference, and only with teacher training we can make a difference in the society. That is what is the key, I think. Thank you.
Thank you so much, because I believe we are running out of time and we have two industry presentations as well. So I would like to thank all our panelists today here. I would like to thank Mr. Sachin Vas, who has been wonderfully moderating the panel. Ms. Beena Nair, she's the Assistant Vice President, State MR Jaipuria School. Mr. Ganesh Sharma, Principal, Global Indian International School, Noida. Mr. Vikas Madnani, Founder Director, Creative Minds Global School, Neemuch. Dr. Josna Minocha, Principal, Queen Global International School, Dilshad Garden. And Mr. Arjun Minocha, Academic Director, New Oxford Public Schools, Vivek Vihar. I would like to invite on stage Mr. Abhishek Jani, CEO, Fairtrade India Project of the Center for Social Markets, to present a token of gratitude to all our panelists. Can we have a token for Mr. Sachin Vas? He's the founder of the Gurukul School, Ghaziabad. He has excellently moderated the entire panel. It's all about a good picture. Thank you. Can I have one for Ms. Beena Nair? For Mr. Ganesh Sharma, Principal, Global Indian International School, Noida. For Mr. Vikas Madnani, Founder Director, Creative Minds Global School, Neemuch. For Dr. Josna Minocha, Principal, Queen Global International School, Dilshad Garden. For Mr. Arjun Minocha, Academic Director, New Oxford Public Schools, Vivek Vihar. And I would also request all the panelists and Mr. Jani to be on stage together for a group photograph. Together for a group photograph, please.